Hold On for Tanya was one of his hits that he wrote. Kenny Rogers had a big hit on one of his songs called Reuben James. And so Alex was a very successful songwriter. And he invited me over to his house when I didn't have anything going on. Sheila and I had just moved to Nashville. And we had a 59 Ford wagon and a 63 Volkswagen. That's what we moved to Nashville in. We kept that station wagon for like 20-something years. $500. That was back when you could buy a car. That was my limit. $500. If it was any more than that, I couldn't afford it. But we had this little Volkswagen, and it started out red, but it was so old and faded out. It faded to like a pink. And it was so rusty, it was like pink and brown. That's what color. And I remember driving that Volkswagen out to Alex's house, and we sat down and wrote this song. You know, a lot of people say, I hear them say this all the time. I wrote that one in 30 minutes. You know, they'll have a hit. I wrote that, which is generally a lie, because writing a song, it's harder than that. You know, most times, I've worked on songs for 6 months. You know, go back to it, write a little bit, change stuff around. It's very, very rare to write one that's any good that quick. But Alex and I wrote this next song, and it was about 30, 45 minutes long that it took us. So. And Capitol Records, I later signed with Capitol Records, and they wanted me to record this song. And I thought at the time I was so insecure in my writing, and I figured, man, if it's got my name on it, it can't be good. That was the way I was thinking. Capitol said, no, we want you to record it. So I did. We went down to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and cut an album. And then this was one of the songs. And then Capitol heard the album and said, we want to put that one out as a single. And I went, oh man, you're going to kill my career before it even gets started. Because it was I tell it like it used to be the first album. And dang, they put it out and it was a number one. What do I know? So kick it off and see if you remember it. It was the first number one we had, actually. Yeah. Now, baby, don't worry if it troubles your mind, 'cause it'll all wash away, girl, in the river of time. If you need a shoulder, well, I'll be around and be your rock to hold on to till that river goes down. 'Cause it's heaven high water you got me through. Come hell or high water, I'll be here waiting for you. I can't keep you from crying, and I can't stop your pain. And Lord, the brightest of sunshine, oh, never could stop the rain. But you know that I'll be there, just like that early sun. I'm gonna be your good morning, baby, when your crying's all done. 'Cause it's heaven high water you got me through. Come hell or high water, I'll be here waiting. Hey, girl. Thanks, guys. This woman beat her husband up with his guitar collection. And she went before the judge, and he says, first offender, and she says, no, sir, first Gibson, then offender. That's my move, by the way. Elvis says his moves, my move is easy to remember. You know, I tried to get on stage with Elvis one time. Thank goodness for that cop that told me to go sit back down. Elvis was playing in Atlanta. I don't know. I was hit by a transport of emotion. And a bunch of Budweisers. I had one foot on the stage and the cop went, bam! Son, if I was you, I'd just sit back down. I was going to thank you. Because I would have gotten arrested, I know. Is Sheila in here? She probably don't want me to tell that story. So forgive me. I want to do what?
I said the other Sheila's here.
The other Sheila is here. That's funny.
Not over again.
That's funny. Let's do a gospel song. Let's change gears. Do a gospel song. I love this song. You know, I first sang it. Did any of y'all ever watch Country's Family Reunion, no show? Well, we did one called Wednesday Night Prayer Meeting. And a few years ago, and I never had sung this song before. I thought it was some old song, like 100 years old or something, and I found out a guy named Squire Parsons wrote it in the 70s. And I guess I heard Jason Crabb sing it, and I really fell in love with it. Then I heard Marty Raven from Shenandoah sing it, and he's just an awesome singer, old buddy. I'm kinda homesick for a country to which I have never been before. No sad goodbyes will there be spoken, 'cause time won't matter anymore. Beulah, I'm longing for you, and someday on the stand, and there my home shall be eternal. Beulah, sweet Beulah. Well, I'm looking now across the river to where my faith shall end inside. Y'all gonna see it. There's just a few more days I've gotta live, and then I will take, oh, my heavenly flight, yes. I'm longing for you, and someday only I'll stay, and there my home shall be eternal. Beulah, sweet Beulah, there my home shall be eternal. Sweet Beulah, Beulah, sweet Beulah. God loves every one of y'all in here tonight. And don't you ever forget about it. You know, oh, you're welcome.
My daddy's favorite song.
You know, wow, there's so much craziness going on in the world. And in the United States, it's just unbelievable. Everything's upside down. And wrong is right, and in is out, and all that. I can't believe it. But don't let it shake you up too bad, because God is still on the throne, 24/7, pulling the strings, and everything's going to work out all right. I've read the back of the book, and we win, so I ain't worried about it. I got peace of mind. You know, I went through a really bad time of problems with drugs and alcohol. And, you know, I would try to quit. I just never could stay quit. And so I would get on a horse and ride a while and fall off, and get back on the horse and ride a while and fall off. I just never could stay quit. And during that time, I wrote this song called Wine into Water. And it's a prayer to God to help get sober, but I was still drinking and smoking pot, taking pills, whatever I could get. And so I would never sing it in front of anybody because I didn't want to be against God on it. So we were out at Loretta Lynn's, and Sheila said, you need to sing this song. So for the first time, I sang it, and Loretta loved it and put it in her show, and she recorded it a few years ago. And so I got to where I was getting up in the morning pouring vodka in my coffee. You know, that was the way I started my days. And Well, I woke up, I tell people this is a cliche of a story, you've heard it before. I got up one morning and I was so hungover, and for those of you that don't drink, hangovers, like you feel like you got the flu, your body hurts, or you got a headache, you're nauseated, it's just not good. And the only way to get over a hangover is to start drinking it. And then you start a whole nother day of it, and it's just like it never ends. And so I looked in the mirror, and this has been about, I'll be 67 in a couple of years, a couple of months, and I look, I guess this has been probably, I was in my mid-50s, maybe, and I looked in the mirror, and I said, man, what are you doing? I looked like death, white-faced, and just, I said, what are you doing, man? You're about to blow everything. You're about to lose your family, your job, everything. Because it was really going down. And I asked God to help me. And you know, bam, I ain't had one craving since then. It was just a miracle. I'm telling you, it's a miracle. And I truly believe that, because that was all I used to think about. I just couldn't get whiskey and dope off of my mind. It was you're always looking for the next one. And so anyway, I really was kind of scared and embarrassed to talk about it, because I thought I was the only one. Then I figured out that everybody is either just like me or knows somebody real close to them just like me. So that gave me the want to tell people about it. Sheila and I are part of a church building ministry, but our little private ministry is to help people get sobered up and stay sober. That's our little thing that Sheila and I are just trying to do what we think God wants us to do. And I don't pretend to know what God thinks. I'm just trying to do what I think God wants me to do. And this song is kind of taking on a life of its own. We're writing a book about it. We're collecting stories. We've had people that were going to commit suicide and say they heard Wine in the Water on the radio and changed their mind, and just great stories of redemption. And it don't necessarily have to be about drinking. It can be about any monkey on your back, whether it's whatever it is that you're dealing with. But, and I wasn't joking about Charlie Pride and, the manic depression thing. If any of you guys are suffering with any kind of mental illness, that's another thing people don't like to talk about, but there's great doctors out there, and there's medicine now that works. You might have to experiment around and see which medicine works for you the best, but you don't have to live that way. So if you know somebody that's going through that too, urge them to go see their doctor, because it beats the snot out of the other living the other way. So anyway, hope y'all had a good time. I'm going to end the show with this. Want to thank Danny and them. Everybody's been so sweet. Union County Opry's they've given us everything we wanted. Chicken and dumplings back there, pot roast back there, fresh corn, green beans and taters, and peanut butter cookies and coconut cake and chess pie and all stuff I can't eat. I've been off sugar for 4 months, and I could eat that whole plate of cookies, I'm telling you. Moon pies. We were in Texas the other day, and a guy brought me a case of moon pies, and I had to give them away. Talk about a sin. That's a sin. I have to give moon pies away. There's this little bitty town in Tennessee called Bell Buckle, and it's about, how many people live there? A few hundred. And they have a thing every year called the RC Cola Moon Pie Festival. And so Sheila and I were the king and queen in 2019. They do it every June. I don't know if they had it. Anyway, we were the king and queen, then COVID hit. So by default, they didn't have it. And by default, we were the king and queen 2 years in a row. First time that's ever happened. I mean, we were wearing a cape and crowns and all that. World's biggest moon pie. The moon pie people in Chattanooga make a humongous moon pie, and we cut it and feed it. Anyway, I love y'all very much. Thanks for coming. Thanks to the band. Thanks to Ashley Barron for coming out here and singing some. And like I said, Danny Cook's been really sweet to us. And all the ladies that cooked. And it takes a lot to put on a show. It does. It takes a lot of moving parts. And they, I'm sure they don't get paid for it. You've heard a multitude of prayers on my behalf. And I pray one more is not too much to ask. I've tried to fight this battle by myself, but it's a war that I can't win without your help. Tonight I'm as low as any man can go. I'm down and I can't fall much farther. And once upon a time you turned the water into wine. And now on my knees I'm turning to you, Father. Could you help me turn the wine back into water? Too many times I've hurt the ones I love. I pushed them to the edge of giving up. They stood by me, but how much can they stand if I don't put this bottle in your hand? Tonight I'm as low as any man can go. I'm down and I can't fall much farther. And once upon a time you turned the water into wine. And now on my knees I'm turning to you, Father. Could you help me turn the wine back into water?